Hello, you gorgeous soul. So it's time for our step 4. I am super excited to be here as every single week. I love this and I love talking to you. And today it's one of my really, like, I would say one of the favorite steps. So it's like really profound. It's very different from what, we've been talking so far. So, are you ready to dive in? I'm super excited. So, we're going to be talking all about your inner goddess, what that is, how you can tune in, and all of this super amazing stuff. And this is going to come in handy, I promise. Okay, so I'm just going to share my screen. I'm just so excited. Okay, let's go. Okay, I think we're ready now. Hi. Okay, so here we go. As I said, step 4, the power of your inner gorgeous goddess. With me, Tina Shuklia, mindset coach, inner goddess, and self-healing activator. As I said, I love, love, love this one. And your inner goddess knows the way. I love this quote that I created for you. And this is also our mantra of the week. It's a gorgeous quote that I came up with in times that were kind of difficult for me, and it was hard for me to decide in which direction. So this really helped me along the way. So what will we be talking about today? So I will be explaining what is inner goddess, which is basically intuition and what that is, and why do we resist this, why it's so important, why is the intuition slash inner goddess so important, and what kind of intuition you can have, and all the steps you need to take to listen to your inner goddess, and how is your inner goddess communicating with you, and then what's the connection between your intuition and your health and also your life. Very important. And basically how to distinguish, between your intuition, so that feeling, or what you think you should do. So I love this saying by Louise Hay, my inner being is always with me. So this is how Louise calls her intuition, her inner being. So okay, so when I listen to my inner being, I find the answers I need. And this is so true. So what is basically intuition in the first place? So this is basically a voice, a feeling, a knowing, your inner truth. A lot of people call it inner gut. I just have a feeling about this. I can't explain it, but I have a feeling. I don't know, that this person is just weird. I can't put, my finger on it, what's happening, but I just feel weird around this person. So this is it, you guys. I'm sure you had experience about this. And oftentimes then when we ignore it, we just get a big slap back and be like, see, I should have listened to that feeling. So as I said, like this can be called in like number of different ways. Your gut feeling, I love to call it inner goddess because it's really empowering. And I just got that. I think I got like a download, like an idea when I was meditating, and I was just like, oh my god, I love this inner goddess. um some people call it higher self, inner knowing, inner truth, the voice within. And the thing is that every single person has it. Even if you're like, I don't have a clue what this is, I've never heard that, or ever got a feeling, or ever got a knowing in me, but I'm telling you that you have it, but it's probably just not active, and it's hidden under layers and layers and layers of I should do this, I should do that, under us being so in hurry and just living someone else's life, and under the layers of I must do this, I have to do that, I need to do that. So this can really mask that inner truth, inner goddess, inner voice of yours. My inner being is life's way of loving me. I love this one. It's so gorgeous. So why is the intuition so important? So this is the power within you that knows what is for your high good. So let's say that you're like, I don't know if I should take this job. Like on paper it's perfect, but I'm not sure, something just feels off, or like I can't decide between the jobs. It's always going to be the one that's for your highest good, whatever really happens there. And so basically it's not what you're too scared to do, but what is your highest purpose, because this literally leads your life. It is one with you. So this is not something really separate from you. This is like on a soul level. And basically your intuition will keep telling you, showing you signals for what you were meant to do, be, or go until you listen to it. And the thing is, if you don't listen and if you ignore what's coming up, universe oftentimes sends a stronger sign in a form of a disease, accident, etc., etc. Like I've heard from so many people, you guys. I first thought, maybe it was just me, but every single person, it's not just disease. Some people, like so many people in that book, that I've been mentioning, surviving cancer against all odds, radical remission. They said that they all looked within and said, okay, what am I missing? What am I not listening to? What am I not focusing on? Or like, what am I ignoring? They were like, most of them like just quit their jobs or the jobs they didn't like, or I don't know, relationships, environments, whatever, and they started doing what they truly love, or they were like, oh, I enjoy doing this, or they started helping to heal others or spread this stuff, so this was just amazing stuff. And then like in groups, I remember a while ago, so I was just like asking people, and they just said, yeah, I was I remember this one woman said, I had like a horrible accident where I really hurt my ankle, so I just couldn't really walk normally, like before. So I had to quit my life. These are her words: life sucking job in a coffee place, and now I am self-employed and I work from home, and I just love it. So like as you see, sometimes this is so radical. So this is not like we think, okay, when I'm gonna be ready, I'm gonna quit my full-time job, and then I'm gonna have my business. Sometimes if we don't listen, it just comes in super radically. For me, like with diseases, with in terms of life changes, I would say I mean I generally really listen to myself. I always had this feeling like about France. I couldn't explain it, so it was intuition. But you guys, I had no clue what intuition was. That many years ago, I didn't even believe in this stuff. But I just said there's something about this country that I need to go there, and I'm gonna go there, and now I'm here. And then but it wasn't always like that. When it came to jobs, I just didn't have any clues whatsoever. So I would just I stayed in a job, and I said, I was just there basically. I should do this. I should be here. I have to do this. I have to do this. And I didn't listen to myself. I was forcing myself. And that was when my body said, okay, you are not listening. Here you go. I'm going to literally paralyze you. So now you can't move. So you can't go to work. So it was like super radical. It was super intense. And I just, luckily, I was willing to look within and heal myself, because I said, okay, I hear you. I'm going to stop this job. I'm going to quit this job, whatever. It's not the end of the world. So, this is always something to ask yourself. It's not always in this form, but oftentimes, like I would say at least 95% of the time with disease and illness, there is something we are missing, something we are either not listening, ignoring, or not even knowing that there is something that needs our attention. And another thing why we don't like to listen to this feeling is, first of all, we can't explain it, because it's not logical. It's not, oftentimes not reasonable. On the opposite, it's sometimes super crazy. But that's only because you're not used to it and probably live your life of should. And for me, it was almost like the same. I remember when I was living in Paris, and then all of a sudden I got this idea, oh my God, I want to try living in London. And it was insane. I finally got, a place, we got jobs and everything. But I said, it was crazy. But like I said, I did listen to myself, because I learned my lesson with my body, showing me stuff. But yeah, it was definitely crazy. And at first I said, oh my God, what are you doing? You are nuts. You can't do this. So yeah, that's the thing about the inner goddess, the intuition. It's not always like this, but oftentimes it is, because there is something amazing we want to do, or an amazing place we want to go to, but it's just so freaking scary, because like we've never done it, or it's just completely different. I love this quote. My body is my pendulum. One of the amazing coaches kind of reminded me, showed me this, and ever since then I really realized this. So here I just want to kind of quickly go through basically how you can tune to your intuition. So basically, if you're, especially if you're like, I would say fairly disconnected or completely disconnected, and you're like, I have no clue what this is. I never had this, or I just had it like a couple of times, but I have no clue how to, access this again. So the first thing is that you have to quiet your conscious mind. This is your, chatter, which is oh, I suck, and all of the other stuff. Oh, did I lock the door? Oh, how about the kids? Are they asleep? Oh, right, I have to pay the taxes. Oh, wow, how about that deadline? Just like random stuff. So this is your conscious mind, and because it's just, it's keeping you busy all the freaking time, and because of all of this mess, because of all of this busyness, you can't hear what you truly want, or it's masked under the layers and layers of questions of what if, or and fear, fear, fear. You know, always, very often, it's also fear. So the only, I would say, one of the only and the best remedies is definitely meditation. If I would say meditate, meditate. I know that it can be really challenging in the beginning, but this is my best advice, because I mean, I get it. I had my struggles with meditation, like, a lot, but it's truly amazing. I now do it every day, sometimes even like 2 times or 3 times a day. And you can even ask a question. For instance, if you say, do I take this job? And then you can either feel, I will explain, the senses and how you can actually, how does it feel in your body, or, in what form this intuition speaks to you. Then you can also try pendulum. I'm going to show the photo on the next slide. So this is like a crystal that moves in a certain direction when you ask a yes or a no question. And like, it can't be used to predict the future. So you just can't, abuse it, or like to harm someone or anything like this. It also needs, some time to adjust to your energy. And this is basically like, it's not witchcraft. It's no magic, even though it totally looks like it. I know. It's literally like your higher self's energy that's kind of moving this crystal in a certain direction. Then you feel like, oh my God, this is so freakish. How does it know that? And you can start with simple questions like, is it raining today, or is it sunny outside? I don't know, am I wearing blue jeans or something like this, to kind of see what's your yes, what's no. So I don't have the pendulum for such a long time. I've had it now for like maybe a couple of months only, and it really freaked me out in the beginning, but it's such a gorgeous tool, and you can have really like a lot of fun with it. And another thing, you can tune into intuition, especially if you love journaling and this is your thing. Now this is gonna be it, like, you just keep on writing, and things are gonna come out. What your biggest desire, why am I so scared of this, why am I so scared of this? You can just ask the questions until you get to the root of um, what you truly desire, and just be honest with yourself of what you truly want, and also list fears why you don't really want that, or why you're scared to do that. So this is my pendulum. The crystal is called rose quartz, so it's like a lovely, gorgeous pink, a very gentle pink. I actually maybe I'm gonna do like a short video about it, just to show you, like, in the Facebook group. So maybe you can watch that. And if you have it, please show me. I would love to kind of see what kind of pendulums you have or how you use it. But again, this is completely optional. If you think this is, what is this? You don't have to use it, obviously. Like, I was in the same space like last year. I would say, you're nuts. Like, what the hell is this? But I don't know. I just opened my mind, and it's like, it's really fun, and yeah, I can actually play with it. So I just want to kind of talk about how my body became my pendulum, and that your body is literally reacting physically to your emotions. I love this quote. This is so true. This just like sums up the mind body connection. So with all of you, most of you know my story, and you know that I've been sick ever since I can remember, ever since I was born. But I've also been repressing my emotions ever since I can remember. So this went, hand in hand. And, the first time I really noticed that my body was like literally reacting to my emotions and to the things that are happening in my life was when I healed the sciatica and my back pain. And that was when I was forcing myself into a job I didn't want. And then ever since that happened, I've noticed that every single time I would feel like a really strong emotion, like especially when I was like angry, or even rage. And for instance, like anxiety and fear that's been really prolonged and with me for such a long time, that this would literally trigger, and this would go somewhere in my body. It would go, I don't know, I would have pain in my kidneys, I would suddenly start coughing, I would get sore throat, I would get like skin rash, I got like all sorts of weird stuff, like, seriously. So for instance, when I feel overwhelmed, stressed, angry, or for instance, even when I automatically repress emotions, because I still sometimes do, because I've been, so I'm so used to this that I really have to be conscious and aware of not repressing them. And that's when my body clearly shows me in different parts and organs. And I know now, for instance, if I get really angry, and I don't repress it, and I don't work through it or confront the person, I kind of get like a small irritation of the bladder. And like, I know how to heal myself also with like herbs and supplements and food, but I just know exactly, okay, I have some screaming to do, so I go do that. So it's about expressing, but also working through it. Because if you just like express, let's say, I would be angry and I would just scream and scream and scream, like, let's say, every day, it's not really solving the root cause of problem, because I am probably not confronting the person that I'm so angry at, or I'm not forgiving and letting go. So, and then the thing is that as soon as I take care of myself and I listen to myself, this disease, this condition, or the signs, the symptoms, they would just like very gently subtly disappear. And then it's just like, oh, I knew that something was, that it was something like this. And it really freaked me out in the beginning. But the thing is, with time, it just really deepened my faith into that there's really nothing physically wrong with me, and that I can heal myself, um, and now I'm just like, I'm literally so fascinated by my body. And I remember even once, it wasn't so long ago, I don't know exactly what happened. I remember I was like, oh my god, I'm feeling this in my body right now, like there was some pain. And instead of like freaking out as I would before, I would be like, and I was just like, oh, funny thing, just today, something was really weird happening in my business and I was feeling very stressed. I was like, here it is showing up, you got to clear this out. And I was just like, this is so fascinating. So you don't have to be like this, but I'm really fascinated by how my body works and by how my body shows me. So if I'm ignoring something, let's say, uh, I hate some job, or like I hate some person, and when I was, for instance, I was working for one client when I was doing a lot of VA stuff, so like book editing and things like this. And I just didn't want to stop working for her because of the money reasons. And then I would just get random conditions, like my muscles in my hand, they would just hurt so bad I couldn't type. So so things like this. And then you're just like, well, if you don't get this hint, then I don't, then I can't help you. So yeah, it's like really interesting. Like, it's not the same. I'm not saying it's gonna be the same for you, but it's still good for you to know, that these things, they do exist, and that you tune in and see, what is really happening in your life. If you, even if like not aware on the conscious level, your body can be showing you as well, how something is happening and how something really needs your attention, letting go, forgiving, or just simply your attention. So, how does your inner goddess speak to you? Listen to your inner goddess. She knows the way. So there's like six series. So this is kind of like senses, and we have six of them. The first one is called clairvoyance, which basically means that your intuition speaks to you through images and flashes. So this is like for very visual person, and they don't get the feeling. They just like see something happening, and they say, "Wow, that's how they know what's the right thing." And then we have clairaudience, which is basically that your intuition is speaking to you through your hearing of certain words or sounds. Like, I've never experienced this, but this must be a very profound experience. And then it's called clairsentience, which is something that I have. And this is where, a term, a gut feeling came from. So this is basically when someone, for instance, a person, like I explained in the beginning, like some person is just like really weird. You can't put your finger on it. You can't say, you are weird, because I don't know, like, you don't know. There's just like a feeling around that person that you can't explain. And this is it, this is the gut feeling. Or when you think of something and it just like feels really off, that, for instance, for me, I'm just going to give you an example. Like, when I think of when I think of no, it feels like it's kind of my body maybe even pulling me a bit left, and I kind of feel, when a train goes off tracks, that's how it feels for me. And it just feels off. And I also maybe see some color, which is and I see black. That's how I see it, and that's how I feel it. But the feeling is very powerful. And for a yes, it just feels like it just feels right, and it goes like all the way down through my torso. Like, it feels really good. And like, for all of you who like who haven't really experienced this in such a profound way, I just want to, tell you that like just 6 months ago, I had no clue about this. I didn't believe in this stuff. I was like, you are crazy. This is nuts. So, or maybe it was like 9 months. But yeah, so you just know, that this is not. I haven't really grown up with it. I always thought this was weird stuff. Didn't believe in it. So it's absolutely fine if you're not in the same level, or don't really can't really wrap your head around this. I'm just kind of showing you and telling you about all these options, and this is truly amazing, and it feels so good. And there's plenty of time for you to learn, but this is the thing that doesn't really, your mind won't be able to kind of wrap its head around it. So it doesn't really work on a mind and logical level. So then the next one is clear cognizance, which is inner knowing that something's going to happen before it happens, very intuitive. This is something when people say, I feel it in my, feel it in my bones. I just know it. I can't explain, but I just freaking know it that this is going to work out. It's also very determined people, and that's why they're so successful. And then, for instance, we have clear alliance, which is smelling even when there's no physical source, and clear gustance, which is similar as the previous one, which is tasting something that isn't even there. Now, these two, I don't know. I haven't really experienced the last two, but those others, well, except for voice. So basically, for me, it's mainly clear sentience, but also clear cognizance and clairvoyance. I can also see sometimes some images, but quite it's mainly feeling. I'm just gonna take a sip of water. Okay, so yeah, if you wanna like share with me, if you think, if you know which one is you, then please share it in the group. If you're not sure, then just, write out how you know that your intuition works, and I'd be happy to kind of point you in the right direction to kind of discovering this. So trust, very important. So trust that the universe never gives you what you can't handle, by Gabby Bernstein. Trust, trust, trust your gorgeous intuition. And this one is for all of you loves who love, love, love control, and who are control freaks. And yes, definitely me included. I know how challenging this is, especially if you have a very loud, very strong, very powerful mind that just thinks a lot. And then all of a sudden you say, hey, I'm gonna trust my intuition, and then your mind is like, what the fuck are you doing? This is bullshit. This is not gonna work out, and all of this stuff. So this is trust and having faith that it is for your highest good, and letting go and allowing that whatever needs your attention, and that whatever is for your highest good will come to you. And it's also like surrendering, believing that everything has a purpose, even when the situation looks horrible. So like when you can decide, either like, let's say, well, you can decide something, or it looks horrible and you're like, I have no clue how this can be, how something good can come out of this situation. But I can assure you that in a couple of years, or maybe in a decade, or even later on, you will look back and you will see, oh my God, because of that asshole who broke my heart, I am now with this amazing person. Or because of that asshole, I said, screw this shit. I deserve more, and I got myself a better job, or anything like this. And then also hope. When you surrender your plans and release control, you stop pursuing the path of your misguided ego. You allow the voice of your intuition and the energy of love to be your guide. I love this quote by Gabby. So here are a couple of steps that I'm sharing with you to how you can listen to yourself unapologetically. So you can use this process if you're unsure about, any sort of area of your life, be it career, relationship, what's your next step in your life, or your home environment, if you're moving somewhere, or if when you're in doubt. So, when you're in doubt and when you feel overwhelmed and not sure, if you're making the right choice, which can basically be, I don't know, whether you're buying a new home, by getting a new job, opening up your first business, trying an alternative healing method you haven't tried before, and you're like not certain this is the one for you. Use these steps, to tune in, to see what you truly want to do, not what you think you should do, or what everyone is telling you, oh, you got to try this, you got to do this. No, that's not the right solution for you. The right one, and the only right answer for you is the one that comes from you, not from the, from the people that you love, not from the society, not from your environment, but from within you. So the first one is be aware, because all of your answers lie within you. And so we had this step. This was our first step. So one of the things, for you to do is basically sit down for about 10 to 20 minutes and ask yourself the question that you would like answered. Let's say, um, what do I want? Or let's say, like I said in the beginning, you're not sure which job to take, or what kind of healing method you want to take on. Is this the right choice for me? And just like be aware of what comes up. And then you can just start journaling and writing down every, like, all of your thoughts, all of your fears, how do they make you feel? And you know just basically things like this that are just gonna help you out, with awareness. And you will know exactly where you're standing. So listen. I love this one. Miracles happen when you listen to yourself and your body. I love this quote. So when you listen to yourself, so first one was aware. So you just sat down and you were like, okay, I'm aware that I need to change something, but you know the next one is to listen to what comes up. So eliminate all of your shoulds, all of the people's voices, family's voices, whoever it is that keeps telling you you should do this, you should take this job, you should move there, or you shouldn't move there. What are you doing? Are you crazy? Just remove all of this, because it's not about them, it's about you. Listen completely and unapologetically about what's coming up, and be brutally honest with yourself. Don't be here like, yeah, I'm gonna take this option, because it's like the safest. No, just like open yourself up and just be willing to be honest with yourself. Now, this can be painful, this can be also like super scary, and that's why sometimes we don't want to be honest with ourselves, because we have a feeling it's gonna be something we won't really like, and we will be too scared to go after it. I'm going to tell you, do it anyway. Be honest with yourself and just allow yourself to see, hear, feel whatever you need to hear or whatever you need to see. And sometimes we just protect ourselves so much that we don't even allow this idea in our heads. So I would just say again, relax. And here you can also go back to meditation. And this step, again, like, I love this one. This step changed my life and my health. So it wasn't enough that I was just aware of what I wanted to do. So let's say that the first step for me was realizing, oh, I wanna I need to quit this job because, like, I really hate it. I don't want to work there anymore. And so this was being aware and listening. And of course, the first reaction was like freaking out. But you know, well, here is a couple of methods. So I'm gonna share the other steps with you later. So that's the thing. Yeah, my intuition has told me the craziest things ever, but they always felt so good. So in the beginning, I doubted it, but then I just went for it. And meditation here is the best because it slows down your mind, and it kind of drowns out other people's voices and fear, so you can just hear what's coming up from within you. And again, eliminating the shoulds, other people's opinions. Detach yourself. Please detach yourself from how I'm gonna do this and from feeling guilty, because let's say you feel guilty because you want to have your own business, or you want to spend more time with yourself, when you, let's say, you should, quote unquote, spend more time with your family. So just detaching yourself from this, journaling, asking yourself, what is it that I want? What is it that I want? And then keep on writing. Don't correct yourself. Don't think, just go with the flow. And if you can't do this, then just start journaling, let's say, about your day, about whatever pissed you off, or, and then just keep coming back to what you want, what you desire. You can also use pendulum here as a guidance and clear the shit, aka clear the negative emotions, which is especially anger, resentment, and work through your forgiveness and feel the compassion. So this is also important. This is also something that's just gonna be blocking you and kind of just like clogging your let's say, clogging you from really tuning in and feeling aligned with your intuition, what you truly want, because you have so many doubts. This is just kind of being overwhelmed and having like a ton of anger or resentment or some really deep rooted guilt feelings, and then you can't really, or you won't even allow yourself to do whatever you want to do because you feel guilty, for instance. So again, this is very important stuff. Then accepting it now, like I said, this is the tricky part, and total acceptance will lead you to complete freedom and inner peace. I love this one. It's not an easy one, but it's absolutely amazing. So, like I said, when I was with my sciatica, when I heard that I gotta quit this job, and my first response was like, "Oh my God, are you insane?" So I was just like resisting it a lot because the idea and the message from my inner goddess was just so out there, and for me at the time it was so crazy, and it just freaked me out. But because I was in such a physical pain, I just had to do something about it. I didn't want to be in pain. So, but sometimes we just stop it there because we're like, whoa, that's scary. But the thing is that, your only job right here and right now is to just accept the idea. You don't have to really do anything right now. You just literally have to, embrace and accept it, and, realize that, hey, it's okay. All is well. You're safe. It's okay if you want to do something completely different, or, something crazy, or if you want to go somewhere that you have no clue how you're going to do that. It's okay. Just accept it. Just accept it. So total acceptance. This is a wonderful, wonderful step. And the other part of this step is stop resisting, because resistance is the thing that creates so much pain. It creates more pain than the situation itself. So, because when you're resisting, you're creating even more pain, suffering, and more struggle in your life. And with resistance, there also comes anxiety, frustration, anger, doubt, panic, panic attacks, and much, much, much more. And again, like I said, you don't have to do any massive changes just yet. You know, just accept what is. Just accept what is and say, okay, um, this is a lot. I think I've seen a lot this with gay people, because they just keep resisting. They just want to really be like everyone else. They don't want to be something special, like quote unquote, different, and like that their family judges them. And so here it comes, like, stop resisting and just accepting what is, just like total and complete acceptance. And this is so simple, but this is so challenging. Because it's like you literally just gotta let go, and you gotta relax, and you gotta surrender. You gotta say, I accept this, even though like everything in your body wants to be like, no, I hate this, I don't want to do this. How can this be? This is not possible. I'm never gonna do this. I can't open my own business. I can't be gay. All of this stuff, coming up. And I swear that this will help you in every single area of your life, because it will keep you calm, and it will help you to have clarity even when the circumstances won't be the best. So, again, a simple step, super challenging one. Stop resisting. For instance, when we have anxiety, that's resisting. And then take massive guided action. So, sometimes we wait a long time in the previous step before we take this one, but that's totally up to you. And if you put yourself in a position where you know you can be healed, the right help will come to you. Then you have to be willing to do the work. And this is the final step. So as I said, like, some people stay really stuck in the previous step, in the third step, because this is just like so radical, so different, so out of the blue what I really want, that they just don't want to move, and they just stay there. um but you got to know that most people don't even come to the first step, because they're just like so disconnected from their intuition of what it is that they want, because they're living their life, let's say, for someone else, or according to society's rules, or someone else's rules. So I'm going to tell you this: always do what feels good. If it feels good, chances are it will do good for you. And you always, you take action when feel okay, I'm ready. um yeah, just this is, like I said, a wonderful step. So it doesn't help, let's say, if you're just intuitive a lot and you just feel, and if you take zero action, or if you just take zero action and just zero intuition to where you're going. I think I'm going to explain this in the following slides more clearly. So this isn't some wishy-washy stuff, believe it or not. There's like a ton of research, actually. So I know this is a lot of text. So basically, so one of the researchers is this one. Researchers asked individuals to play a card game where the goal was to win the most money. What they didn't realize, however, is that the game was rigged from the start, and that there were two stacks of cards to choose from. One was rigged to provide big wins, followed by big losses, while the other deck was set up to provide small gains but almost no losses. It took about 50 cards before they said that they had a hunch about which deck was safer, and about 80 cards before they could actually explain the difference between the two decks. However, what is most fascinating is that after only 10 cards, the sweat glands on their hands, on their palms, open slightly every time they reach for a card in the dangerous deck. So every time they reach for a card in the dangerous deck. It was also around the 10th card that they started to favor the safer deck without being consciously aware that they were doing so. So basically, in other words, long before their analytical brain could explain what was going on, their bodily intuition knew where there was danger, knew where the deck was the wrong one, and they guided them towards safety. So this is just like nuts. Like when I read this is really amazing. And in fact, in a similar research, scientists were looking at people's ability to predict whether a picture was behind curtain number one or curtain number two. Well, this was actually on computer, I think. And basically they did that by measuring like really subtle like physiological responses from their bodies. And what was again so fascinating was that people's bodies were able to predict the correct curtain 2 to 3 seconds before the computer had even decided which curtain it will use. So this is again like super intense, and basically intuition going over analytical brain. And then more, I have more. So apparently over 100 million neurons in your brain also exist in your digestive tract. This explains why we so often say that we have a gut feeling about something. And basically that's because, the gut with all of its millions of neurons, it can actually think and feel just like the brain. And in a couple of experiments, people were given either like a lot of time to think about something, or they had like that they had to make like a super quick decision. So basically, their intuitive decision. And those who made quick and intuitive decisions were the ones with the best decisions overall. So this is just like something super fascinating and just amazing how actually our body responds faster than our brain before we are even consciously aware of something. How crazy is that? So, how can you distinguish between your inner goddess and between what your mind wants you to do? Your body is showing you through a disease that something needs your attention. So, first of all, your intuition will give you the answers without the should, without the I, you should do this. Don't ask yourself, what should I do? What should I do? Because the should is what we feel we have to do, we must do. So there's like a ton of pressure, a ton of overwhelm. And oftentimes I'm going to tell you that decision, let's say, I should take this job because, it pays better, but you know that you don't feel the best about this job, and then if you take it, you're probably not going to be nearly as happy as in the other one that, it would be better for you. So inner goddess is a knowing that you can't really explain on a rational, logical level because your analytical mind is just gonna go, "That's bullshit. I don't see any scientific proof. I don't see any numbers. I can't explain this, so I'm not gonna believe in it." So it's maybe not something that you would pick out as that's the best option for me. But when you are honest and when you really listen, and then you will hear and feel what is truly for your highest good, and that's basically the intuition. And when you quiet your mind, you will hear very distinctly what it is that you truly want. And then this example that I said with that person, remember that one or more times when you ignored your intuition, your gut feeling, you had a feeling about a certain person, but you were like, I don't want to be mean, or I don't want to be filled with stereotypes or whatever. And then let's say something bad happened, and you were just like, I knew it. I knew I shouldn't trust that guy. Holy crap. So I gotta tell you this story because it's like really fascinating. So that was what happened to me around, let's say, 2 years ago. So I was living in London. I was about to move in into a new place, new home, and then all of a sudden, I got a text from the person who was showing me the house that it's no longer available. I'm really sorry, and obviously I already put a deposit in. Everything was working out really great, but I had a feeling from the beginning that there was just something off. There was not really off, but there was something was weird. I couldn't explain it, so I said, "Don't I didn't want to sabotage myself, And then I was just so I couldn't distinguish between the doubt and the intuition, And as it turned out, it was a fraud, and I lost some money. But and I actually needed a couple of months because I was like, I was quite hurt and so surprised and angry at myself that I didn't listen to myself. But the thing is, I just couldn't distinguish between my analytical mind, so self-doubt, worries, and fear, and what was really lying in my heart. So that's the thing. You just gotta tune in, meditate, and please quiet your mind, because that is the best thing you can do. So, what's the connection between your inner goddess and your health? So, every person has a different change they must make in order to restore balance to their systems. So, intuition is super duper important when it comes to healing your body, especially if you don't know why you got a certain disease. Because when you tune in, you can discover why you got sick in the first place, what needs changing, and which healing method is the best for you. So this is again super, super powerful. And then we read all of this stuff and we're like overwhelmed, say, oh my God, there's like 50 healing methods I need to try, and I should just try all of them. And if I don't, it's not going to help me. But we are not listening to, to us what we feel like doing. And that this is why we need to detach from the self-doubt and the worries. And for instance, for me, one of these was a realization that I need to quit the job that I hate, and that it's not going to be the end of the world if I do this. When you use your intuition to listen to your body to figure out the particular change you need to make, healing will follow naturally. This is one of the lovely people in the Radical Remission book. And here is inspiring healing story from the same book, Radical Remission: Surviving Cancer Against Odds. So this person's name is Wanda, and she healed her ovarian cancer. She healed her ovarian cancer with surgery, but she refused to do chemotherapy because, like, she felt that it was just off, and she said that her intuition told her so, that she doesn't need chemotherapy. And she says, anybody with cancer should sit quietly with their cancer and then ask why it has come, and then ask it what needs to be done in order for it to leave. I love this. This is so powerful, so profound. And yeah, that's the thing. A lot of people tune in, and they are willing to tune in what's coming up. For some people, I know that it was like, I need more joy in my life. I need to move in. I need to quit my job. I need to, open that charity, or, whatever they truly desired. But, they wouldn't otherwise consider it good. But now, because, they were so sick, they had to do something so radical as, like, really change their lives and listen to themselves. So here's your home play, you guys. Again, not all of the things are like that, a must do, but this is just really something that I hope you will, manage to do. And you can just come back to this as often as you need to. So the first one, how to tune into your intuition. As I said, quiet your conscious mind, meditate, and ask a question, where you'd like to receive the answer. You can try the pendulum, the crystal that I showed you, and just ask different yes or no question. Let's say, um, again, like for instance, I'm very careful how I ask my questions. I don't say, should I get this job? Because this implies that, I have to take this job. But I say, like, is it for my highest good that I take this job? And then I see, what the answer is. But again, you can also do this just, without a pendulum, just by asking yourself when you meditate, or you can journal. And then the steps that we have, how to listen to yourself unapologetically, is first to be aware of, what you want to know or what needs your attention. Say, okay, what is it? Why did I get this disease? Why did I get this condition? What is it that I need to change? What it is? What is it that needs my focus, that needs my attention? Listen to what comes up without any judgment, and accept then what's coming up for you, and stop resisting it. Again, we said a lot of people just stop here because it's so either different, so out there, it's so scary that they just stop and they just resist it so much. And with this, you create so much pain in your body, and just like emotional pain. And then take massive guided action, because I love saying this, freaking YOLO. We only live once, at least in this body, if you believe in multiple lives. But this is something that really triggered me, that changed my life. And ever since then, instead of asking myself, why would I move to France? They just seem so freaking nuts. I started asking myself, why not? If this is something that I want, Why the fuck not? Like, who else is gonna live my life? And this is something, I know it's simple. And this is something that people ask themselves, when they really have, let's say, stage 4 cancer, and they're just like desperate to change their lives, desperate to change whatever needs changing. And also, this point I want to say, that action without any guidance is like you driving around without any map or navigation. So you can just drive around, so you can get some stuff done, but you can also lose a lot of time, a lot of energy, right? And on the other side, if you just listen to yourself and you just tune into yourself, but if you don't take any action, if that is all you do, let's say meditate or just tune in and say, oh yeah, that feels really good. This is the job for me. But like, let's say you don't apply for a job, you also won't get the results you'd like to see. So it's basically tuning into yourself, being aligned, and then also taking massive guided action. And here we have Baddest book. So, Still Living, Jen Sincero, You're a Badass, and Kelly, Ready for Remission, Surviving Cancer Against All Odds. So the book by Louise Hay and Robert Holden is really great here, because in this one, Life Loves You, Louise talks a lot about her inner being, what she says, her intuition. So if you're curious about this one, it's a lovely, lovely book. And also, of course, Gabby Bernstein, I love her. The Universe Has Your Back. Her book is really lovely, talks a lot about trust, hope, faith. This is also like one of the our last step. So I think in 2 weeks, that's also our last step. So we're gonna be talking more about this there, but this is just like if you're really curious about this one. So this one is like really intuitive, very on a different level than, let's say, You're a Bad. It's just completely different. So just trying to explain, if there's something you feel really called to read or dive in, that you actually have the resources to do this. So I want to say thank you so much. Thank you again for showing up for yourself, for showing up for your life, for your gorgeous, amazing body. I love you so much, and I'm always super excited about these steps. I know that today it was slightly different, but this is really important stuff. And again, like, if this is something that you've never done, you're not really sure how to do this, or you've never really done it like before, you got to know that I'm coming from a super rational background. I was like the most rational person ever. I was studying criminal justice. I actually have 2 master's degrees in that. But I totally get you. So, if you have more questions about how you can do this, and just like, because you can't move through your analytical brain and, what is logical and what is not logical, please drop me a line in the Facebook group. I'd be happy to give you some assistance on that as well. So I love you so much. This was a gorgeous step. Enjoy your inner goddess. Please keep me posted in the group. And I'll be talking to you next week. I love you. Bye.